Well, that did not take too long. We got our Tatsu, and we didn't have to pay scalper prices for it. We got it on Walmart.com. I showed you that short telling you how we got it, and I hope you heeded my advice and did not pay scalper prices. It was available for 3 days this past week on their website at regular price for shipping, so you could have picked it up. It just went down today. It's Saturday. It just went down on the 10th and sold out, but the site's still there, so I would keep checking back to see if it's restocked again, or if you could get it for local pickup from your nearby Walmart. So we'll have that link at the bottom of this video, so you can pick them up and not have to pay those stupid scalper prices. It's being more and more readily available at stores, and the way I could tell that, if not for just finding it myself, in addition, you can see that there's a lot more listings on eBay, and the price has gone down from about 90 a figure to around 50, 55 a figure, which means that there's a flood in the market right now of Tatsu. So there are more and more available at your local Walmarts, so you should be getting these. These are just starting to hit shelves now. Some Walmarts get them first, and then people panic and think they're sold out, but they do end up getting there eventually. And we're starting to see that now, and I think we will throughout the month of August. So don't panic. Try to get this guy for the regular price and not pay those silly scalper prices. You can see the box here has a very ominous look here for the red packaging. I think this Tatsu is based on the first film. And the way I see that is the accessories he comes with, which we'll go over in a minute. And it says Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and not Secret of the Ooze on it. It doesn't say Ultimate Tatsu, but I think this is, essentially what this figure is. There might be another release where they call it Ultimate Tatsu, but we'll see. You can see him here with his accessories and an alternative face mold and his hands. And then he's got a little bit of a foil-like look to the back of the package here, but you can see him in a bunch of poses. So really excited to have this guy. We interviewed back in 2022 or 2023 when we were talking to NECA, and they were saying there was a lot of issues with getting the rights to his likeness. There was a bit of a language barrier there. The guy operates a dojo out in Los Angeles, and I think they finally were able to reach an agreement, obviously, and we get this great figure where it rounds out a lot of the main characters from that first film. So why don't we open this guy up and check him out? Well, here's our guy, Tatsu himself. You can see he has an assortment of accessories. Some are film-based, some are imaginative, as I like to call them. You can see his assortment of hands here, an alternative head. He's got his foot mask that he hands to Shredder at that point where they're doing the foot induction ceremony. Over here, you have the open and closed fan. He actually does have this in the scene where the foot soldiers are sparring in practice, and he hands it off to one of them when he enters the match. And he has a rattan training sword. You never actually see in the film. I don't think you do. I watched it again, did not notice it. Same with his katana. I would imagine he would have them, but he doesn't use them. And you don't see this mask up here either. I have researched it. You could see it in some comic versions of him, but not in the film. Maybe it was behind the scenes or one of the trading cards. I'm not sure. But we'll check him out. And our guy here has a very nice look to him here. He's got a mixture of cloth and plastic. So we can see his foot symbol. This is a rubber sort of plastic on top there. Then he has his cloth. I don't know what this is, robes. So yeah, I mean, I like his waistband is an elastic band like we've seen with the other versions of him. And then his pants here. And then he's got those like gripping toed shoes that ninjas have. So he has all those aspects here. And he's got his standard NECA articulation in the arms and the elbows and the head and the waist. He could turn. This one doesn't bend to the abs. He's got his thighs. You can hear them clicking into the readiness there. And then yeah, so that's essentially his movement. Take a look at these accessories really quick. So the katana has a rope here, so you could tie it off on him if you wanted to, and you get that katana sword. And he'll probably be able to hold that with his weapon-holding hands. Rattan is very nice, actually, this trading sword. Looks very close to what the ones I've seen Reality do with the wrappings on it and everything. So, nice little trading sword he has there for training the troops. He has his fan, so if you want to recreate the look of him walking around with his very manly fan, you could do that. And he also has the folded up version that he could hold in his hand. A little tricky to get this one out, but you can see the folded up version with the white tips at the top. And then you have his alternative face, and then he's got this mask. I think you could put this on his head if you wanted to. There's an elastic strap on the back. So if I really wanted to, it seems that I could slide this on and get the look there. Yeah, you can get that creepy, scary look on his face. He could definitely do that if you want to add that to it. It's his nice smooth head. A little darker though, you can see where he has shaved the head, so they did a really good job with that. And then you have that crumpled up foot mask for when he hands it off to Shredder. Let's get him some of his hands here so he can hold things. So he has a couple versions of his hands. He has what I call the weapon holding hand for like a sword, and then have the grippy hand here for something larger. So 2 accessories that he's actually had in the films are not included in this packet. One, of course, is going to be from Secret of the Ooze, and that's going to be an ooze canister. You recall in the scene where he recovered it from DGRI. I don't think you're going to get it in this hand. It's just not big enough. So maybe they'll do a version of Tatsu where they actually do have a big enough hand where you could get that foot canister in there, but you're just not going to get that in there. A lot of the guys have had trouble holding the canisters. I really had a struggle with some of the characters to get a canister in their hands, but he's definitely one of them. He's not going to hold that canister. So let's switch out his standard fists for some weapon holding hands so we could see how these slide in there. And I'll get back to that other accessory that I was talking about in just a second. I didn't forget. I'm just getting ready to show you because I actually have one of those accessories that will fit nicely with him. So another accessory he had in the film, he actually used, was a knife. He kept it in his waist belt, and he pulled it out when he was in that scene sparring with the foot soldier, and he took it up to his throat, and he told him, you know, never take your eyes off your opponent. So this should fit in his hand. It's a little loose because the hand's not really designed for it, but he did have a knife, and that was one of his few actual weapons he had, and NECA did not include it in the set, which is a little disappointing. And then he just kind of tucked it into his waistband in the sheath, and which is good about the waistband is you actually can do that because it's elastic. And they made it elastic like the foot soldiers, so you could tuck accessories into it. So you can actually add that knife. Where do I get that knife if I want that knife? You're probably thinking. That comes with Shredder. So if you have the NECA Shredder, the movie NECA Shredder, the first one, not the Ultimate Shredder, he comes with that knife, which is weird because I don't recall him using this knife at all in the film. It was actually Tatsu's knife. So if you have Ultimate Shredder, or I'm sorry, regular Shredder, which you're going to need anyway because you have a lot of scenes where he's taking off his cape and where he's hanging out with Shredder, then you have this accessory that belongs to Tatsu, really, I think. I did not recall Shredder ever needing anything other than his claws on his hand and then that giant spear with pointy ends of both sides of it, which that also came with the Shredder. So you got that weapon, and then you got Tatsu's knife. He's the only one that used the knife in the film. It comes with it, so you could just add it onto his belt like I just showed you, and then you round out your Tatsu. So if you have both, you're completing your set. So that's all I would say is disappointing me here, is that we're missing out on that accessory, because that was kind of one of the few weapons we see Tatsu use in the movie. Otherwise, he just points at the foot and tells him where to attack. He doesn't really do anything else. In the first one, he has the combat scene with Casey, and he kicks him a whole bunch, but he doesn't really interact with any of the other characters other than direct the foot toward them. In the second film, the turtles do gang up on him and do that attack and smash him with their shells. I can't recall if his outfit is different in the second film or not, or maybe I just didn't notice. So maybe there will be a Secret of the Ooze version of Tatsu now that they have the likeness rights. But I love that head. That screaming head is awesome. So very good job on both of these. But that stern Tatsu head is your standard sourpuss Tatsu, and I think he looks great. So a lot you could do here with all these accessories. Of course, handing off the foot mask. I think that might be better with the slightly bigger hand, but you could do it here and hand that off to Shredder. So that is your quick look at the Tatsu figure. Has just enough to get you equipped for all those great movie poses, and maybe we'll see another version of him in the future. And that is your look at Tatsu, the latest from NECA in the TMNT movie line. You could finally complete your foot squad set with this guy leading them up, training them. Looks absolutely great with the set. The only disappointment is he doesn't include his knife. But NECA gave it to you with Shredder. I'm pretty sure this is Tatsu's knife because Shredder did not use a little knife like this. It just makes sense. You could put it on his belt. However, his hand is a little too big to hold the really thin handle on it. So that's the only oversight I think NECA had from an actual accessory from Tatsu. So that would have made it awesome, but it's still pretty great. It's pretty amazing. I'm really glad to have him in the line finally, and it just kind of completes this. Now they're running out of characters to make from the movie film. We have Paige Turco, April O'Neil, because the actress changed in the second film, so they could do that. That would round out the human characters. You have April's cameraman from the second one. That could be a two-pack in both the cameraman look and the foot soldier look. Of course, we know if you watch my Tatsu Shorts video from the con, we did see another figure that they have in the works, and that's foot soldier disguise Casey Jones from the first film. You can tell because his hood is not tucked in to his uniform here. It's sitting on top. And that sort of sets him out, and that's just the same look from the film as well. He was kind of lazy with that and just let it sit on top. So that is definitely in the works. It's there in the case from NECA. No announcement on that, but I would assume that is the next to add to the line. Beyond that, I would love to see what I recall the Foot Human Resource Officer, and that was the guy that was walking them around the foot, and it was actually played by a now famous actor, and that is Sam Rockwell, played the foot soldier HR guy. So that would be pretty amazing to have that if they got the likeness for that figure. If you remember him, he was showing everyone around. He handed the kids cigarettes. I don't think they'd have that as an accessory, and he was at the end scene after Tatsu lost to Casey Jones. He was the one that was like, get him. So that would be another human character they could add. He never actually put on the uniform. You only saw him out of uniform. But that would be from the first film. You could also add the police chief, you know, April's boss. There's other characters that were more obscure, but it would be nice to have, you know, at least that other April and, you know, April's cameraman, foot soldier combo, stuff like that. So we'll see. We don't know. We just know that the next one is Casey and that foot soldier disguise. We got that little tease at the show. So yeah, it's a good time to be a Turtles fan, a good time to be a TMNT movie fan with these figures. And we're now finally completing our set. Well, that's it for now. We're going to have more Turtles news, so just stand by for more reviews of newly released products and some other surprise teases as well. So as always, like, subscribe, and follow. We'll see you guys next time.